Okay, today I'm going to go over how to open up a data log from the Woolwich logger in ECU Editor, kind of how to read it a little bit, and then I'm going to show you how to make a .csv file. So I already opened my map, so I have the correct map that I used at the time. So that's already open. As you can see, it says 16 psi 0.0 bin, and again, this is a Chixer 750 with ethanol. So you're going to go to data logging. You're going to go to view data log. Then you're going to go to load file. And for this particular one, I'm going to show you on the log box. So we'll go to May, Saturday's run, May 1st, and I already know that May 1st is the run I'm looking for. So I'm going to open up May 1st. Now again, because this computer has a small screen, we're not going to be able to get to the bottom of the files. That's why I use my other computer typically. But I just want to show you a couple things that'll hopefully make it easier if you're kind of unfamiliar with how to look through these logs. It's going to take a while to populate. Please be patient. I'll speed this up in the video. Again, sometimes it takes quite a while for this to populate. So first thing I want to show you is we're going to go to throttle position versus RPM. So it'll take another second. So obviously our RPM are going to be on the left side column, and our throttle positions are going to be on the top column across. Okay, so be patient when you're using this because it takes a little bit. A lot of computers, there's a lot of data going on. So I'm just going to pick a particular point. If we go here, this will be basically your air fuel. If you have it selected on logged air fuel, this will be the average air fuel that the data count has found. So if you have, like, let's say you have 10 logged air fuels, that's the average of those 10 logged air fuels. So now we're going to go to data count. Now obviously the points that fall in this box are how many counts you actually have. So when you go up to the top right, you can go through and it'll tell you what time the log was, the RPM, TPS, etc., etc. Now this is nice because a lot of times when you're tuning, you don't want to tune a bike based off one log. Now again, if you know what your bike is doing and it's something that's very familiar to you, you know, you can make some exceptions. But typically I like to get like at least you know, a good chunk of data points before I start making adjustments. Now this is our intake air pressure. So this is basically when you're in vacuum all the way to atmosphere. Typically you'll be on this map for the back portion, but if you're using the bike aggressively, it'll skip right to the TPS map and kind of skim over that 0 to 10% throttle position. Okay, now that you've kind of seen that, I'm sure you're kind of familiar with how that works. I want to show you, now we know that when we're seeing these logs, we're seeing them on a point. All the data is collected based off the RPM and either a throttle position or an intake air pressure. Now sometimes it's nice if you did a run to be able to look at this file in a time sequential basis. So I'm going to show you how to convert a file to a .csv. You just go right here, .csv, and then you can open that in Excel. And what happens is when you double click, it's going to create basically an Excel file that I can take Excel excuse me, and you're going to have to go to all files. That was the step I was forgetting. Typically, oftentimes when you open up Excel, it will be set to all Excel files. go to all files. That will enable you to see the .csv file. Now I can go to May 1st, open it up, and I have a sequential from the beginning of the run all the way to the end. Now, I had a friend that I was trying to show this to, and he said, JP, why are you showing this to me? I'm not going to understand it. And when I started breaking it down, look, you got RPM, you got your throttle position, you got it whether your clutch was in or out, you have what gear you were in. If we move the column over, we have whether it was in neutral or not. We have our boost. We have our intake air temperature, which is in Celsius. The fuel injector stuff doesn't tend to be too helpful, but what I like on these is the timing and intake air pressure, gear, etc., etc. So now as I go down, if this is a land speed run, so we'll start in the boost column, just because this is an area that you can kind of check out. Obviously we're in neutral. We're in neutral, 0 gear. We have no boost. So I'm going to get to where the run started, and that's pretty easy to see because the boost will start rising. Now we're in first gear, the clutch is out. The clutch was in for a second when I shifted. Now we're in second. The boost is rising. I'm up to about 6 pounds. The clutch is in, I shift. I'm in third gear. I'm at 8 pounds of boost. I shifted, the clutch is out. I'm at 10.5 pounds of boost. Now we're in fifth gear. I'm at 12 pounds of boost, and that's where the log ends. But the point is all this stuff is free. I think that the data logging feature on ECU Editor is awesome, but when you pair it with the ability to switch to the CSV file and look at them under Excel under a time sequential basis, you get a lot better idea of what the bike was doing, and it will help you aid being able to learn how to read this Excel file. Will help you tune on ECU Editor so that you know you're not tuning on a spot where you're letting off the throttle and you think you're lean, but it's really rich. All right, I hope that helped.